is doing well. I so hope that this weekend and this week has been blessing you with wonderful, wonderful, blissful moments in your life. So, I'm back with another video just to catch you up and just talk about things that are currently in my life. So, as of late, I've been busy doing errands. I had a graduation to attend to, which was my graduation. So, So, I had a graduation, I think, if I'm not wrong, like a week ago or two. A week ago, on June 1st, I had my graduation. And then after that, I celebrated my boyfriend's birthday, which was really nice. It was really great. We had lots of cake and we ate a lot, and we just stayed at home to relax. And that was basically all we did for his birthday. We've been so busy with work that we didn't get to celebrate properly. But hopefully in these days, before this month ends, actually, and before the end of the month, we're gonna go out. Well, that's gonna be as a surprise. So yeah. What else? So we've been out working. I have a little spot where I sell myself, so I'm usually selling there. My boyfriend has another job at a restaurant, so it's been pretty busy and hectic. But my normal downtime, well, as of now, I've been searching for a university or an institution where I could exceed more on what I learned and just do more, actually. So I have my associates, but I wanted to get my bachelor's or like a master's. So I'm still thinking about it. But I'm currently looking for jobs right now because I would like to earn a little bit more cash, so we could find like our own apartment to rent and be able to pay off some bills that I have. But overall, it's been good. So I've been watching Sex and the City. I think I mentioned it before, but I have one thing that's on my mind, which is an episode. It's on the first season. It's of Baby Shower, I think it's called. I think that's the title of the episode, Baby Shower. The Baby Shower, I think. And I have a lot of things on it, like made me think a lot about not just having a baby. Well, because I think it's common sense that having a child is so much work. It brings a lot of responsibilities, It's so much so that there's no way you're going to put yourself first in situations when you have a child. It's your child first and then you. And it's something not so, it's not such a, I'm not saying easy or hard. It's more like it's a must of a, it's like a, I don't even have the word for it. It's like an obligation to have that child before you, then put yourself, because your child's needs have to come first and then your needs come second. Obviously, you do have to, think about yourself and put your mental health first and your health first. But most of the time, it's your child that comes first. So that's something that I kind of had expected. But the thing that was like sort of like a twist to it was literally that episode like showed me how there's a character, I don't remember her name, I think her name is Lainey. She is a character that they describe her as a wild party person, always like drinking, always was with one relationship to another, earned her money, went out to do expensive things, bought expensive things, had a life just sort of like what you call a party animal, right? Right? So, in this episode, they show like a glimpse of how her life was before pregnancy, and then they show you how she just changed, like she had married a responsible man who had a good career, a stable career, and she left her partying ways, her moment of craziness behind her, and focused on the pregnancy. And then they talk about how she's so different now, how she used to be this wild party animal, and how her life is so simplistic, like how dramatic to them it almost seemed like it was like a dramatic change, because they had known her a certain way, and then all of a sudden she has like this 360 degree or 180 degree change to a very simple, quiet, calm person. Not quiet, I mean like a person who's just very like low key, like this is her life now, she's a mom and a sort of in a way a housewife, so she's living a very domestic life now, other than her parties where she would go to and just be crazy. And when they saw her, they had like some sort of like envy. They felt bad, because the whole thought of being pregnant, and they're like at an age where they had to be already settled down, and this girl who was super crazy and wild ended up being this way. And so they talk about how society expects these older women over 30 to already have children. So that's another thing that I also had in mind, but I think I'll talk about that one later after this one. So, okay. So my point across that I'm trying to get at is that, so the point I'm trying to get at is that after the baby shower scene ended, they go to where Samantha throws a party, but it wasn't it was not like a any kind of party. It was sort of like a party of like, thank God I don't have children. Thank God I'm not pregnant. This is a not baby shower. That's what she called it, a not baby shower. And Carrie calls Lainey, I think, or Lainey calls her to apologize. And she asks Carrie, what are you doing tonight? What she was doing that night. And Carrie tells her that she was going to go to a party that Samantha threw. And Lainey said, oh, I'm going. So she goes over there and she just shows up uninvited. And they ask her friends, Carrie's friends ask her, why is Lainey here? Is she not pregnant? This is a party that has alcohol. And so Lainey tries to be her old self. And as she's trying to be her old self, she sees that she can't anymore. Like she sort of has this sort of like a force field where she can't go over that anymore. She can't go back to how she was back then because she's a changed person. Not because she's pregnant, but because she's a changed person. She no longer is that woman that used to party a lot, that used to go out a lot, that used to do things that you wouldn't have done if you were pregnant or married. I hope that makes sense. And she even apologizes to them, saying that she wants to, but she just can't because she's a mother now. So there's no going back to the way she was. And that episode did get me thinking of the fact of that feeling like, are you ready to give up who you are and what you do for a child? Or like, not like that. I feel like I'm like translating it how it is in Spanish, but like what I'm trying to say is, are you ready to give up everything that you do, everything who you are at the moment, and have a child and be doing mother things and doing having that responsibility on you, just changing completely? Because if you still because I think if you still want to do those things, you probably can. I mean, there's no reason you can't do it, but when you have a child, so many things change. You could do the same things that you are doing now, but you have to keep in mind that you have a child now, and there are some things that you have to leave behind if you want to have something like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just kind of like this character Lainey. She had like this wild life, very exotic parties, luxurious clothings and designer bags and designer shoes. She gave all of that up to be a humbled housewife and mom. So she basically is like, she gave up that to be a good example for her child. That's how I understood it. That's how I took it. I mean, there's no reason why you can't go shopping for luxury goods still while you have children. You know, you still can. It's not like you can't. But I feel like what I am touching on is more like going out to parties and being irresponsible, being careless with yourself is something you can't do to yourself anymore. You can't be careless for yourself because you have to be responsible now. You can't be, thinking about yourself and not think about your child. You have to put your child first and always think about them, because your child needs you. And if you are not in a good state, you are not in a good state to take care of a child, especially when they're babies, because they need a lot more attention than children that are older. Children that are older, you do give them attention as well, but you do not have to, they do not rely on you in the fact that you need to wash for them, feed them. If they know how to cook for themselves, then they could cook for themselves. And if they know how to wash, then they could wash their clothes. But they're not where you have to spoon feed them, if that makes sense. You don't have to be feeding them by the spoon or washing them. They could do that on their own once they're older. But babies do require you to be more attentive, be with them at all times, and feed them and bathe them and just change them, because they can't do that yet. So what I'm trying to hopefully make sense, and hopefully it doesn't offend anyone, that sometimes when thinking about having a family, you have to be assured, be so sure that you are capable of leaving behind or sacrificing a few things that could just not be beneficial for you and your future child. That's what I was thinking. I think in my case, if I wanted a child, I think I would sacrifice a few things just because I want to be fully there for the child. And I know deep inside, I do not want to be thinking and worrying about what my child is going to be suffering if I am not present. So I just would like to in a way explain that if my child needs me, I know that I'll be there for them, because I no longer am doing something that requires most of my time or consumes me in a way that is not positive. So that's what I mean when I say that if you want to have a child, you have to be aware of what is it that is not beneficial to you, and that it will not be beneficial for your child as well. For you to be in the moment and think, am I willing to give up these things for my child, or am I ready to give that up for my child? Those are just questions that came up in my mind as I saw that episode. Another thing is that I definitely noticed, and is still happening. I think it still happens, but it's when you're over 30, people already expect you to have a family and a child. And I could understand why in some sense, but at the same time, I do not believe it is required for you to be at a young age to have a child. Or if you are over 30, you cannot have one. Yes, you can. You can have a child. You could even adopt. But I feel like like when people see someone who is without a child or a family, they think something's wrong with them because it's just not seen normal. Quotation marks around the word normal. It is not normal to see a single 30-year-old without a child. It somehow seemed as wrong in a way for someone who's over 30 to not have a family, to have not settled down. And it's also in the Latino community where sometimes I think if you've seen the memes where the tias or the tios or the abuelas or even your parents as well, they say, how come you don't have a boyfriend? How come you're not married yet? How come you don't have a child yet? You're already this old and you're not settled down yet. I've heard in my own life as well, I've heard the train is almost moving. The train is almost leaving and you haven't got on it yet. And it's sad to hear that, especially from family members, and it hurts a lot. And it upsets people as well when society has already deemed you as someone who's not even right in their standards because you don't have a family, or because you're at a certain age where you're supposed to have certain things and you don't have it. And it's very saddening to hear that because everyone is going at their own pace and a lot of things are happening at their own pace, and these are things that you can't control. You can't control when you could get married. You can't control when you meet someone. You can't control when to have a child, because these things are just, they happen in the moment. You can't force a connection. So if you are dating someone, you cannot force that person to connect with you, because it goes both ways. If they do not feel connection, they will not continue a conversation. If you do not feel any connections, you cut a connection. Same goes with marriage. So if you get married, okay, that works out. But say God forbid, you cannot have children, or your wife cannot have children, then and you both decide on just being together, then that's fine, and it is not their fault. These are just things that happen in life. It just happens. And then sometimes marriages don't work out and they don't have children, so it ends there. You know, and sometimes even divorce is seen as bad, even though it does happen frequently, but it's still not seen as good, because it is said that if there is a divorce, one of them, sometimes it's okay. So if you had a divorce, it's a mistake. It's a friendly mistake in a way, where it's like, oh, you might have gotten married too quickly, or you've gotten married out of love and it didn't last that long, which is something people somehow forgive. When I say people, I don't mean the people within the marriage. I say people outside, as could be people who are bystanders, family members, anybody else outside of that. They could just say, oh, it's a mistake, it happens. But if you get divorced 2 times or more than twice, it is now considered either your fault or the other person's fault. And sometimes it's not that it's not something for someone outside of that marriage to say. It is only from what comes from those two parents. So sometimes I believe that when people fasten the decision because of what others may think, that's where things go wrong, because society has one way of thinking, and it could influence anyone. It could be a strong-minded person. They could be easily influenced as well, because they don't want to appear a certain way. And even the fragilest of minds could try to change their ways or their situation because of an influence. And I believe society in that way influences a lot of people, because they give this scenario that by this age you have to have already have certain things, or by this age you should have already have a family, or at this age you should have already gotten married and have children. And by this age, this is where you say, okay, enough is enough, no more children, and it's not right, because people should decide that on their own, not someone outside of that. If you are in a marital status, no one beyond that relationship should choose what you and your partner decide to do. If you wish to get married, then it will be because you both decided on it. Or if you both decide on having a child, or adopting a child, or adopting pets, because nowadays people do that. Instead of having children or adopting children, they just adopt pets. Then they agree on that or disagree on that. Or if they just wish to be partners for life, minus the marriages, then that is fine. But it is not anyone else's opinion. Someone else's opinions from the outside should not matter. From what I've learned, from what my boyfriend's side of the family has taught me, is that when you and your partner decide on something, or even have an argument, or have an agreement or a disagreement, it should stay within those two, and within that couple. Anything outside is just terrible, because from the way my boyfriend's family side has explained it to me is, so the way she had explained it to me was that, say you and your partner had an argument, be it big or small, and you go to your mom and you vent out and you tell them what went wrong and what was the situation. And your mother or your father, they are hearing all this, and they are now having a bad image of your partner. While you probably are thinking, wow, like I got to talk about this with someone, and I feel better now, and now I can think clearly. But however, you just gave your parents or your family member a bad image of your partner. So they are holding in that venting, because a parent will never want their child to suffer, nor have someone make you suffer, or make you mad, or make you sad. And that makes them feel bad, because you are telling them all this, and in their heads they're probably thinking, well, this person is not a good person for our son or for our daughter. They are not the greatest person that we thought they were. And that image that they had once of them, or an image that they never had of them, now that image becomes a bad image. So all that venting that you did to them, they carry that with them, and they will always have that in mind. When they see your partner, they will think, this is the person that is saying these things to our child, or is being awfully rude, or they just have, but in the way you are sickening their heart, or making them have some sort of resentment towards that person because of what you told them. And that is the way my boyfriend's family side had explained to me. His sister-in-law had explained it to me in that form, and it did make me think like that is true, because at the end of the day, I am not going to leave this person. I'm going to stay with them for as long as I can and for as long as I want, while my family members are over here thinking, wow, she's very ignorant, very dumb, and just reckless and careless about her life, that this person is terrible for them because of all the things she has told us. And it does affect you in a way, because even though you, let's say you do keep doing that and you just don't think about them having this sort of resentment towards your partner, if you want to talk nice about your partner with your family, they will bring up those stories or those things you told them, and they will not see the good side of them because of all the bad things you told them about your partner. So it would be already too late, because they would not have that nice image of them, or they will never have that good image of them because of all the things you told them. And that is something that I believe is true. And that's one of the things my sister-in-law, my boyfriend's sister-in-law, told me, and I truly believe it. And I think that's how it is. So, back to my topic, back to what I was saying. It just, society has just so many things that poses on people that makes us want to think, are we doing the right thing? Is this right? Is this wrong? But I think, again, it's all about your pace in life. Some are faster, some are slower, some just take a break, and some just somehow sadly stops. So everyone's life is just different. But that was a good episode to just think back on, you know. And right now, I'm still continuing on watching that show, because I think a lot of things is just so different. I wish I could have seen this back in the day, so I could have maybe done like, this is what I thought back then, and now this is what I think. But I think it's good to watch it now, well, in my opinion, and have never seen it before, because you just kind of look at it like, that's still kind of a thing now. And I mean, there's some episodes where it's just like, I'm pretty sure that's how it was back in the days, because if it was now, I'm pretty sure someone would have already gone to jail. But times change, and as you see the show, you just see how there's just some things how it was in the past it's sad, but I feel like that's just how reality is sometimes. It's just reality is just sometimes never filled with nice, caring, and kind people, even people who you thought you could rely on, thought would always be there for you no matter what. Sometimes can fail you, and it's a shocker. It really is. So, a little rant moment. So, recently, I have been having some sort of struggle around my area, looking for parking. Well, I don't really struggle, but because I find parking spaces, but sometimes the only struggle is that sometimes the parking spaces is a little further from my house. It's not like 3 blocks or 4 blocks away, but it's like just a block away. It's not literally in front, but either way, it's still parking space, so I'm glad and I'm thankful for that. I'm able to find parking at least. But the thing is, we used to save when I used to have a car. I used to have a new car that was like a brand new car, probably like the year 22. Yeah, 2022. And I remember that when we first got that car, this family member was like amazed by it, and at some point this family member wouldn't even ask for the car. This family member would always say, hey, can I borrow the car? I want to go out and take out this present for a drink or something like that. Well, this FM, I'm gonna call them FM, this FM wouldn't go out to bars, right? FM wouldn't take it for bars or any late nights. What this FM would do is just take them out, take out this random person to eat or for Starbucks drinks or for a ride with our car. And my boyfriend would say, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, borrow it. And at first, we were kind of like happy because we were like, oh, we got a new car. And tank, and my boyfriend would be upset, and I would try to calm him down and be like, oh, just forget it, like, we'll just put gas then. And then there was, now that I remember, there would even be times when we'd have a certain amount of gas, and he'd go who knows where so far, and would bring it back almost empty, and we'd be kind of shocked. We'd be like, where the heck did you go? My boyfriend would even ask this FM, like, hey, where'd you go? The gas tank is almost like empty, or half empty, like it'd be half of the half, and he'd be like, oh, I just went nearby, and my boyfriend would tell him, no, that wouldn't make sense, because we had this car at half gas tank, or above half, and somehow you bring it back half of the half, or even close to empty, and he would be upset, rightfully so, and it would annoy us. And back then, when we had that car, this family member would park his car outside and let us park inside because it's a new car. But now I don't have a stable job, and we unfortunately, due to personal reasons, the car is no longer with us. And now that we don't have the new car, this family member, oh, and by the way, this family member used to brag about the car. This family member would go around telling other people that that car, our car, was his, and he had 2 cars. So every time he picked up, every time, so if you know by now, it's this family member, so whenever this family member will pick up girls in his car, he would tell them, oh, this is my car, yeah, I got it with my own money, so that's one thing that he used to do, brag about the car, saying that it was his when it wasn't. So now that we don't have that car anymore, he parks inside the parking lot, and doesn't really help out when we need a parking space. So let's say he's here and we're not, and there's parking space, he doesn't save us a parking space. In fact, he doesn't even think about the parking space at all, because he has the parking space inside the parking lot. So where we live, there's parking spaces designated for each person that lives in an apartment unit. So they each have a number, and so since we used to park there, now that we don't have the car, now he parks in there, and he doesn't help us find parking, because before, when we used to have, this is another thing, before when we used to have our other car, the new car, whenever he was gonna leave in his car, he would ask us, hey, can you save me a parking space? We'd be like, yeah, sure, okay. Or he wouldn't have to ask, and we'll get him a parking space, because we know how hard it is to find a parking space, and we'll be like, oh, hey, we saved you a parking spot, and he'd be like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. But now that we don't have the new car, and we have my other car, it's not new, it's like an old car, but it works still. Now that we have that car, he doesn't save us a parking space when he's here, and all of a sudden he takes out his car now. All of a sudden he goes out more with his car, and he didn't used to do that when we had the new car, and now that he does, he takes out his car and just I have to ask this family member, hey, can I borrow your car? And at the beginning, he used to say, sure, yeah, go ahead, borrow it, or oh, don't worry about it, I'll go pick him up, or something like that, you know. Just like those were the two main things, and we'd be okay with it. But now, as of lately, like all of a sudden, I would send this family member text messages saying, hey, are you going to be able to pick him up? Are you going to be able to go over there, or are you going to let me borrow the car to pick up my boyfriend? And it's been 3 days already. I feel like maybe 4 that I sent him a message and he doesn't answer them. He kind of just doesn't open them until later on. And I think yesterday I had messaged this family member, no answer, no messages back. So I tried calling, and this family member also didn't pick up. And then probably like a couple, maybe like 5 minutes or 10 minutes later, he appears at the door, and now it's like I didn't just try reaching out for him to do me a favor, and then he just walks inside the house and just acts normal. And then right when he's done doing what he's doing, he just says, "Well, here's the keys, go pick him up." And then I'm just kind of like, okay, sure. So I've sort of been feeling that way, I think, more than a week, that this family member is annoyed by me asking him and telling him if they could let me borrow their car, or if they could go pick up my boyfriend in their car. And so because I kept feeling that, I kept feeling uneasy about the whole thing, and now I still do feel uneasy about the whole thing. And honestly, I don't know, like, I do not like bugging people for stuff like that. And I feel like I don't know, I feel like this is just so messed up, because we've done so much for this person, and they can't return the favor. And now that we don't have that nice car, this person just completely brushes us off and just kind of like doesn't really care. And it's messed up, because this is my boyfriend's family member, you know, and they don't want to help out, you know. And we even let this person use our car to pick up girls, you know, and brag and lie that this car was his, you know. And it's really, really messed up. But I guess that's just how people are, you know. They're with you in the good times, but when when you're having a bad day, or when you're going through tough times, they just disappear. They're no longer there. They're never there to support you. They're just there to get that positivity from you. They want to relish in that, and it just says a lot. And I just don't, I really don't appreciate that, because it's just so, I never went above and beyond for this family member. To say, honestly, from my side, I have never gone above and beyond, but my boyfriend has gone above and beyond, and it's upsetting, because you're seeing them go above and beyond for this this family member, but this family member won't do the same for him. And it just makes me very mad because I can't do anything about it because they're family members, and I can't go in between them and start a fight because that's just not right. I'm not trying to do that, but what I am trying to do is help him see that this isn't right, that this is not fair for him, and to just maybe next time not go so above and beyond for people who won't go above and beyond. But I mean, what I told my boyfriend that I'm gonna end up doing, and I will go through with it. And if they get mad or if they start problems, they could just bring it up to me. I am someone like that. So what I was thinking of doing is literally just, if I'm somewhere and that family member's car is not in a parking lot and I can't find parking, I'm going to park there. I am going to park there, and then if I find a parking space up front of the house, then I'll take my car and park it. But if I don't find anything and their car is not there, then I'm going to park there, and they're going to have to find parking space for themselves, because it's not fair that this person is going to basically keep this parking space for themselves. I mean, they were there first, but they kept letting us park there. Why? Because we had a good car, so now they won't let us because we don't have the good car. That speaks a lot, you know what I mean? That says more than anything else. That's my opinion. But who knows if I'll end up doing that. I kind of want to do it because I'm just petty like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just mad. I'm mad at that fact, because we also asked this person for a favor not too long ago, and they automatically just responded with, "Yeah, sure, but put gas on it." And I ended up telling my boyfriend, you know what? Let's just not borrow this person's car, and let's just use which is mine. It's an old car I had before I met him, so I just told him, you know what? Let's just use my car and do it, because the reason why we're asking this person at the moment to let us borrow their car is because my car's radiator is not functioning right now. So we're going to fix that, but we needed to fix that. So that's why we asked, and then this person just goes, "Yeah, sure, but put gas on it." And it kind of bothers me because I hope this doesn't sound like dumb or mean, but we don't go far. We usually just go from within our area that we live. So basically, what we do is we stay within our neighborhood, and that's the restaurant that my boyfriend works at is at a restaurant nearby our neighborhood. So when I ask for the car, I am not driving all the way to the hills or all the way to the deserts or to the beaches. I'm literally asking for the car for literally a 5-minute drive from my neighborhood. And even that is too much for him. It's too much for this family member. I don't know, like, I'm borrowing the car simply for picking up my boyfriend, and we needed a favor because my car is not working, and he all of a sudden wants us to put gas money for the gas. And it's just so ridiculous to me, because when we would ask this family member, hey, can you put gas, this person wouldn't put gas. And if they did, they put $5 of gas. And I understand, be grateful for that they're at least putting gas. Yes, you're right. But if you're still the one that's driving the car far away, knowing that we put a full gallon, a full tank of gas, a full gas tank, and you bring it back close to half or half of the half, then that's sort of like, what the hell? What are you doing? Where are you going? And so it annoys me that this person asked that of us, and it annoys me that this person is annoyed that we keep asking for the car. And I mean, honestly, it's just it's upsetting. Honestly, all this is just so upsetting, because this person is just not helping us out. And it's just upsetting, honestly. And it's just so mind-blowing how people could be like that, especially family members. Family members are the ones that could be just not as helpful. And it doesn't make sense to me at all. So that was my little rant that I wanted to talk about. It was just something that was bothering me, and I have no one to tell this to, so I just go on YouTube to just talk about this, because I don't know, it bugs me, and it really saddens me that there are people like this who are with you for the good times, but will not go with you or join you through the bad times. And it's just so hard to accept that reality, that this is the reality, that there will be people who will be with you only in the good times and will join you on your happiness, but will not be there on your downfall. And the ones that are there for your downfall and are there for your good times, your days where you are up in the sky and down on the ground, those are the type of people who you should go above and beyond, because if they go above and beyond for you, then you could do that same thing for them. So that's where I want to leave this off. And there are good people, there are people who will be there for you, but you always have to be on the lookout, observe them, see how they are,